The NFL draft is underway, and the first three picks are all quarterbacks. That's what we expected, and kind of we got an idea of what the order would be. So Caleb Williams goes number 1 to the Chicago Bears. Jayden Daniels goes number 2 to the Washington Commanders. And the surprise, I guess, is that the Patriots stay at number 3, and they take Drake Maye. I'm Jamie Eisenberg. That's Dave Richard. We're giving you the fantasy spin on the first 3 rookie picks, the first 3 rookie quarterbacks. So Dave, Caleb Williams to the Bears, Jayden Daniels to the Commanders, and Drake Maye to the Patriots. Your favorite rookie quarterback of that trio is?
First of all, I'm shocked. I had no idea this was coming, Jamie. Really incredible. I think it's going to be Daniels, especially in redraft where I don't have to think about long term. I think he'll hit the ground running a little bit faster. We know that he can run. That's going to be a huge part of the cheat code. Between those two, like I get it if you want to take Caleb, but I think that there's going to be some serious upside for Daniels in this offense with the receiving core that I think they'll end up having, with the offensive line that I hope they end up having, and with the rushing totals that Daniels gives. He'll be my favorite. It's really close between Daniels and Caleb, and it's not close with Drake Maye. He probably won't get drafted outside of 2 QB leagues in 2024.
All right, so redraft leagues, you're taking Daniels first. I would as well. Caleb Williams, number 2. Are they in your top 12? I know you haven't finalized your rankings yet, obviously, but just off the top of your head, are they going to be top 12 fantasy quarterbacks for 2024?
They won't be top 12, but that just speaks to the depth at the quarterback position. But one or both could be top 15 because the appeal for both of them to rack up a lot of points, and you've got to love the receiving core, obviously more so for Chicago than for Washington. And maybe it tips the scales if Chicago adds another pass catcher with their other first-round pick. But for now, as things stand, we've only been through 3 picks. Daniels will be first, Caleb right behind him, somewhere around 15th overall, late-round picks, quarterbacks that I will pair with another veteran quarterback, and that'll be my plan. It might be my plan A, Jamie. And then I don't have to worry about spending a big pick on a quarterback early on in draft day in 1 QB.
We'll see what the Chargers do. For example, we're recording this before picks 4 and 5. Kyler Murray will be ahead of these quarterbacks for me no matter what. But if the Chargers do not get a premier pass catcher, I will take both of these guys over Justin Herbert. I will take both of them over Tua Tagovailoa, Kirk Cousins. So they will be probably QB 12 and QB 13 for me, with Daniels ahead of Caleb Williams. Before we move on to the pass catchers for these respective teams, Dynasty draft, rookie only draft. Who's going first? Caleb Williams or Jayden Daniels?
So in this situation, I might lean Caleb because you've got to think that the trajectory for Jayden Daniels as a fantasy points producer might not go as well as it has for Lamar Jackson. Could it be like Russell Wilson? Maybe. Could it be like RG3? Yeah, maybe that could happen too. I think Caleb is safer long-term. So if I'm in a 2 QB dynasty league, or if I need a quarterback in my 1 quarterback dynasty league, I think I'm going to put Caleb first, and I'm not going to take that huge risk with Jayden Daniels.
Let's go through the pass catchers on these teams. So we'll start with the Bears. So Caleb Williams throwing to DJ Moore, Keenan Allen, Cole Kmet. Again, they have the 9th pick in the first round, so they may add another pass catcher, or they may make a trade at some point. But as it stands right now, Caleb Williams with these guys. DJ Moore is wide receiver. What range? What round? Keenan Allen, what round? What range? Cole Kmet, tight end, is same thing.
I pretty much had these guys pegged with Caleb Williams to be their quarterback and ranked them accordingly. For now, DJ Moore is a top 12 fantasy wide receiver. You know that could change. With all the wide receivers that might get traded this weekend or after, he could slip a little bit. I don't like really calling him a number 1 wide receiver. He's more of a high-end number 2, but I think he'll lead Chicago in targets. I think he'll lead Chicago in catches, yards, and touchdowns too, as long as he stays healthy. And I've been kind of out on Keenan Allen really ever since Chicago took him on. And so he's 28th for me among wide receivers. I figure in a lot of the drafts that our viewers will be in, they'll be drafting with people that'll see Keenan Allen's name in like round 3 or round 4, and they'll gravitate toward that. I think he's a round 5 pick at the absolute earliest, and that's in full PPR.
I would take Allen's catches over DJ Moore, but that's about it. I think Moore will lead them in yards. I think targets will be close. And certainly the touchdown potential, I would lean toward DJ Moore, although both guys in their careers not exactly the highest of touchdown scorers, but we did see that with DJ Moore last year. Cole Kmet just outside the top 12 tight ends, but certainly someone that you can wait for and hopefully get great production. Again, we'll see if Chicago adds to its receiving core. For Washington, Terry McLaurin, Jahan Dotson, Zach Ertz is the tight end right now. So they lost Curtis Samuel, number 3 wide receiver, really somewhat of a mystery. In terms of the pass catchers there, what does Jayden Daniels do for them?
I've got McLaurin one spot behind Keenan Allen in full PPR. I don't know if I'm going to keep it that way, but we know that with Jayden Daniels coming to DC and Jayden Daniels running the ball, and I think the Commanders are going to want to run the ball with their running backs too. Makes me a little nervous about the target volume for Terry McLaurin. Not that he's been a big target volume guy over the course of his career. I do like the accuracy that Jayden Daniels threw with. I think he can translate that into the NFL, but I still don't know how often he's going to be throwing. Like, remember how CJ Stroud came out and he was throwing like 40 times a game, like his first 2 games? I don't think that's happening for Jayden Daniels. And I don't think the Commanders are going to go into the season with the receivers they have already on the roster. So I'm going to be nervous and definitely take a step back from Terry McLaurin, call him a number 3 type of receiver. Dotson, a late round pick, a flyer. And that's really about it. We know that last year was really bad for him. And Zach Ertz, if I like who the Commanders are playing in week 1, maybe I draft him with one of my last 3 picks and I start streaming tight ends with him. Otherwise, I'm not drafting Zach Ertz.
I think the thing with McLaurin, hopefully this is the best quarterback he'll play with. We said this about, a few guys that he's had throughout the course of his tenure there in Washington, but this is the most, high profile guy, at least coming into the league. So I'm going to be a little bit more optimistic. I would take him over Keenan Allen just based on age. And I do think that this could be a big year for him. I'm not going to go too crazy about it, but a high end number 3 receiver. And again, somebody that I'd be happy to take in that round 5 range. Dotson, same thing. I don't know how late you want to call late round pick for him, but right around pick 100, I think he's worth taking a flyer on. Number 4, number 5 caliber fantasy option with the hope that more targets. He was better when Curtis Samuel was banged up last year. Again, different system, different coach, different quarterback, but we'll see if that benefits him going into year 3. And the same thing on Zach Ertz. In terms of the Patriots, it's a
Yes,
very
please. Let's
incomplete
talk about the
receiving core.
Patriots receivers.
Demario Douglas, Kendrick Bourne coming back from the knee injury. Hunter Henry's back. So these guys
Yes.
are all kind of late round flyers.
Oh, I can't wait to draft them all in my like reverse fantasy league. Do
Yeah,
those
I mean,
exist?
look, I'm still encouraged by Demario Douglas. He'll be the slot receiver there, so hopefully there's an opportunity for him to take a step forward. But this is an offense that I don't think a lot of people are going to get excited about. Maybe outside of Ramondre Stevenson and Antonio Gibson, based on how they'll fall in drafts as opposed to people targeting them. So
Yeah, they
we
need
we have
another
time to talk about
receiver
the
for
Patriots
sure,
receiving
Jamie.
core.
They don't you agree they need another big time receiver?
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if they make an aggressive move and trade back into the first round and maybe get somebody late, or just spend a good portion of their draft looking at some capital at the receiver position because it is a deep draft. But right now, they said it was a priority to retain some guys, so they brought back Kendrick Bourne. Um, and we'll see if he's healthy because he was having a good season last year. But this is definitely a receiving core that can use an alpha guy, and I don't think they have that right now on the roster. But
I
we'll
think
see.
they need
Drake
an
Maye will hopefully
alpha,
help it
they
out.
need a beta, they need a
Yeah.
gamma, they need a delta. You get my point. You get my
Yep.
point.
All right. So we're going to be spending the whole night here recapping a lot of the picks, but this is what our take is right now on the first 3 quarterbacks: Caleb Williams to the Bears, Jayden Daniels to the Commanders, and Drake Maye to the Patriots.